Okay, I'm live apparently. Well. Let's just give it a second to catch up because I'm on my laptop and I don't really like my laptop. It freezes. I hate technology. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about anxiety, which is serious. So I shouldn't be trivial and be laughing because there are a lot of people who, when they read this, if they read it, will very quickly get their backs up about my attitude and my perspective towards anxiety. Anxiety is a very real set of symptoms. There is no questioning and there is no doubting that. I know that because I myself have lived a life where I've had anxiety present, and there's not a human on the face of the planet who doesn't, because anxiety is a part of our brain that has just ended up wired wrong. Okay, it is part of our protective set of tools that is now turned against us because we're not living in caves and in the bush anymore. Okay, that's the simple understanding of it. Now, there's a lot to talk about, but I try to keep this simple. I'm not going to give you the tool straight away because I don't want people, when I give it to you, to instantly switch off, because this tool is incredibly simple, so simple people don't want to take it up. And it's kind of bizarre in a human's evolutionary process that we've gotten to a point where I can give you something very simple and tell you to follow it for 30 days, 45 days, 30 days for most people. And I can almost guarantee you, if you follow it to my instructions and you are held accountable for following it, you will see a dramatic change in the word anxiety and its presence in your life. Understanding you do not get rid of it. There is no such thing as ridding yourself of anxiety. It's supposed to be in there. It's just not supposed to be manifesting in our behavior the way that it does. What we want to try and do with anxiety is to explore it, feel it, and understand it so that we can respond to its presence. Okay. Now, there is a lot of people use this analogy, the react versus respond, and there's all sorts of weird and wonderful names people have hijacked and used it for, but it is a very simple scientific principle that when you use this tool, you have the ability to choose how you look at the symptoms of anxiety. Okay, so instead of reacting to them, instead of anxiety saying, I can't do this, I won't do that, I am scared, or feeding the doubt of a situation, or now worrying on the lead up to a situation, instead of that happening, this tool, when used correctly, in literally after you've learnt it, 10, 15 seconds, will give you the choice to look at what is going on before you react. So that is the response versus the react. Okay, now to define, react is to be impulsive, is to shut down, is to become nervous, is to feed the very thing that creates the anxiety in the first place. Okay, reaction will get you into an obsessive thought pattern where you will once again start feeding the thoughts that created the symptoms of anxiety. To respond is to see the symptoms, is to be calm within those symptoms, is to be able to be calculated in your observation of the symptoms. So they don't go away. I'm not selling some magic bullet here where you're going to do this thing and it's going to go away. It's not supposed to. Anxiety is trying to teach you something, and what I'm going to try and give you here in this tool is the key to how to learn from it. See, modern anxiety for most is driven by ease and comfort, is driven by the fact that we are trying more and more to cocoon and cushion our lives. We want to dial up and have our food delivered. We want to do all our shopping online. All these things, creature comforts, or is this advancement of the human species, if you want to call it that, is damaging us, because what's happening is we're no longer being challenged anymore. And the fears and the worries and the doubts are of things that haven't happened yet. So if we put ourselves into situations where we can start to face those daily challenges, just the small things, it doesn't have to be monumental. I'm not saying if you fear of flying, go and learn to fly a plane. This is not that big. This is basically the reality that if every single time you say no, every single time you say, I cannot, I will not, that person makes me uncomfortable. Every time you won't face those situations, you feed the beast that we call anxiety. The key to dealing with anxiety is in your daily behavior, in the little things that you might find anxious that you start to tackle. You know, for some people, it's going to shops. In fact, I'm not going to unravel anxiety anymore. We know what it is and what we're talking about. What the tool is, quite simply, is breath. The reason I don't just blurt it out and give it to you is because when people hear the word breath or they hear meditation, their instantaneous thing is just, they swear and they'll shut down. And like, I'm not a barefoot hippie and I don't smoke a lot of weed. That's not for me. And it's kind of weird that we would switch off so quickly to an ancient technique that works. We would rather go and take a pill that disconnects us from the world around us, disconnects us from our kids, disconnects us from our relationships, disconnects us so that we can just glide through life with ease, versus do something that we might have to spend 20 minutes a day spread out over the entire waking hours, 20 minutes for 30 days. We would rather pop a pill that changes our entire body chemistry. If that's where we're at, and if you've gone 5 minutes in, I apologize if that's your reaction, because that's what this is about. Now, this tool took me through 2 prison stints in Africa. It put me through 6 years of protecting endangered species in Africa. It helped me guide myself through my own early childhood trauma, which is an addicted mother, which was my own years of crime, my own years of addictions and alcoholism, an abduction at the age of 5. So when I sit here talking about all this and I say, you know, why do you choose to take the easy road with anxiety? I'm not sitting here as some kind of expert who's gone to school to learn about anxiety. I went to school to learn about anxiety, and my school was life. Okay, I took the meds 25 years ago. I did what the doctor said, and not one thing worked except to basically switch me off and numb me and disconnect me. The repercussions of me doing that were to basically disconnect me from me. So every day was a repetitive habit. Now, as a parent, there's just no way I'll do that. I'm not going to. I'm going to fight the good fight to actually understand myself better, so that I can clear my junk and give my children the best chance at their own life without my crap. To do that, I had to use things like breath. I had to use things like confrontational meditation, where I'm not basically sitting there to float off. I'm not sitting in meditation to relax. I sit in meditation to confront myself, to deal with who I truly am, to understand where I might be lying to myself in my life, where there's a fear that I'm letting make choices for me, where there's anxiety that's making choices and saying, I can't, I won't, I refuse to, I won't do that. So when I say breath or when I say meditation, please understand, these are ancient tools that work. You can almost guarantee that if you follow them to a T for 30 days and then even 60 or 90, your life will turn in ways that you cannot even imagine. So if you've watched this and it's a waste of time, it's basically because you'd rather take the easy road. And I hate to be confrontational and say that, but I had many times in my life where I took the easy road and it ended up damaging me and damaging those around me. So now what do? I teach simple. I give tips to people that work. I'm not going to fix you. There's not a person, there's not a guru, there's not a coach, there's not a counselor, there's not a shrink, there's not a psych out there that can fix you. And anyone who tells you they can is lying. You can fix yourself. All you need is someone to poke and prod, be beside you while you explore the truth of who you really are. If you want to live a life free of anxiety, start to learn some breath. Very simple. 20 minutes a day over your entire waking day. 30 days. At the end of it, you will sit back and wonder why this is not being taught in schools, why this is not being given to every single human on the face of the planet when we're incredibly young. That's what I do with my kids. And if you want to learn how to do that, you can ask questions there too. Thanks for listening.